Kano area to the Ghana Police Service. When it comes to providing housing, housing is one of the very pertinent issues, right? We have a very big housing deficit here in this country. It's not even funny. There are a lot of people who don't have accommodation, and there is demand for accommodation. There is some supply, but the supply of the accommodation is expensive. And the people who are supplying the accommodation are taking advantage of the people who are demanding the accommodation because, it's a scarce. And so that is why we are not even able to solve the problem of rent advance and people taking 2 years, 3 years rent advance, because they will tell you that, hey, it is the people who want to pay the 2 years and the 3 years rent advance. Me as a landlord, I'm not demanding for it, because you know that there is a law which says you can't demand for more than 6 months rent advance, right? But it doesn't say that you as a tenant, you cannot offer more than 6 months rent advance. So the landlords are hiding behind that, and they are, charging 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, rent advance for one particular place. So, and because some of these things, there isn't a lot of supply, if I should put it that way. Or even when there is supply, it is too expensive, because you see all of these real estate projects here in Accra, all of these real estate projects, high-rise buildings, nice ones, springing up all over the place. But then those ones have a certain target to the very upper echelons of those people in society, the upper class. They are the ones who can afford those apartments. But the normal people like you and I, we can't afford those apartments. And the ones that we can afford, the landlords are charging us 2 years, 3 years. So it's a problem. And for the security agencies as well, sometimes you go and look at the places that police people live, prisons people live, soldiers live, and all of that. It's an eyesore, especially the Ghana Police Service. It's a problem. Dilapidated buildings, buildings that are falling apart. Their living conditions are not very good. Not very, very good. It's a problem. But since President Akufo-Addo came, there have been 1,000 housing units that have been provided for personnel of the Ghana Police Service. And so, Kojo Nkrumah, who is the Minister for Works and Housing, says that we should give the president a pat on the back for doing that, for being able to provide up to over 1,000 housing units since he became president. It's important because our security agencies, security servicemen need decent accommodation. Anyway, the New Crusading Guide newspaper says that Akufo-Addo fulfills $60 million promise to University of Health and Allied Sciences. Ex-workers fight GPHA over severance benefits. Nana Kwame Srebo remains legitimate head of Gumwa Ojobi Aguna royal family. During Ghana, residents warn Dawson over illegal demolition of Ikuapim Manres property. NPA sensitizes communities on CRM. That's a cylinder recirculation model. I beg your pardon. Cylinder recirculation model. That's a CRM. So NPA sensitized communities on CRM and safe use of LPG. And Korowo NPP chairman rally support for Baumia, and also stop military and police from land guard duties. Nungwas to caution. So that's what you find on the front page of the New Crusading Guide newspaper. On the Insight newspaper this morning, it says Ghana's public debt is $50.9 billion. That's in excess of 700 billion Ghana cedis. In fact, Ghana's current debt stock stands at 742 billion Ghana cedis. 742 billion Ghana cedis. That was in June. So the latest figures from June. 742 billion Ghana cedis. Not too long ago, it was 658.6 billion Ghana cedis. That's a few months ago. But now it is 742 billion Ghana cedis. That is around $50.9 billion. It's equivalent to 70.6% of GDP. That is where our current debt stock stands. Right? So in spite of all the domestic debt exchange program, high debt distress country, and so we need to do a DDEP, people getting haircuts on their investments and all of that, reaching, some agreements with some external creditors and all of that. In spite of all of that, Ghana's debt stock is still rising. So what has been the effect of the DDEP? If we had 658 billion Ghana cedis in debt, and by June, we have 742 billion Ghana cedis in debt, what is happening? Anyway, so that's there on the Inside newspaper. GPHA must respect authority of President Akufo-Addo. That's according to the ex-workers of the GPHA. And also, government goofed in locking up of global fund supplies. That's according to the NPP MP. And also, ICJ says Israeli occupation of Palestine territory is illegal. That's all there on the Insight newspaper. And then let's come to the Daily Guide. The Daily Guide newspaper this morning. On the front page of the Daily Guide, it says, Nana justifies appointing more judges. At Amil's 12th memorial service, NDC family fight over Anyidoho. Yeah, that's on the Daily Guide newspaper. And I don't understand this thing, right? Koko Anyidoho, former Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, has put up the Atamils Institute. And then there is the family of Atamils themselves, who also have their own way of doing things. And every time, it seems like Koko Anyidoho is at loggerheads with the family of Atamils. And I'm asking myself the question, the family of John Evans Atamils, the late president of Ghana, may his soul rest in perfect peace, will he be happy about what is going on in the aftermath of his death? Will he be happy with what is going on? That there is a man, we all know Koko Anyidoho loved President Mills, we know. But can you love a man more than his family? And why is that? I mean, if I were Koko Anyidoho, I would not put myself in a position to be seen as fighting with the family of Atamils. I will not put myself in that kind of position. I would rather want to be in a collaborative mode with, the family of the late President Mills, because we all loved him. But every time it looks like you are the only one who loves Atamils more than anything. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. A little bit of the story here. It says, the National Democratic Congress and the family of the late President John Evans Atamils yesterday clashed with the former Deputy Secretary General of the NDC, Koko Anyidoho, over a time schedule at the event to mark the 12th memorial service of the late president in Accra. The event held at the Asundwe Park near the Castle Gardens took a different turn when the former NDC General Secretary exceeded the agreed time of 7:30 to 9 a.m. to enable the family of the late President Atamils and the NDC to also hold its memorial service to mark the demise of the former president. Koko Anyidoho, who was ushered from the event grounds by the swift intervention of security personnel in order to prevent further clashes between him and the members of the NDC and the late former President Mills' family. Present at the memorial service were NDC flag bearer John Mahama and his running mate Nana Jane, General Secretary of the NDC Asiedu Nketia. All of them were there, right? The brother of the late President Samuel Atamils, all of those people were there. So you, with the Atamils Institute, you are holding your event. Okay, from 7:30 to 9. It's scheduled. Then the NDC and the family of Atamils will also come and do their own from 9 o'clock going. And it is 9 o'clock and then you are still there. And it's some way. It's some way. It's some way. If I were Koko Anyidoho, I would, I would not allow some of these things to happen because that doesn't look good. The family of Atamils, should be seen as the primary one. Yes, you have the Atamils Institute. It is very good to continue to honor the memory of President John Evans Atamils, but you don't have to be seen to be at loggerheads with the family of Atamils. But anyway, only one coca so conforce call. Anyway, so that's on the Daily Guide newspaper. On the Daily Guide also, government delivers 1,000 homes to security agencies. Baumia can't debate Mahama. That's according to the minority in parliament. And Supreme Court holds up law against unnatural carnal knowledge. That story is on page 6 of the Daily Guide newspaper. So I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in this story. So let me go to page 6 of the Daily Guide newspaper and tell you the story that is there. So it says that the Supreme Court has in a unanimous decision declared that the law prohibiting persons from having unnatural carnal knowledge with another person is constitutional. A 5-member panel of the court presided over by Justice Paul Bafoboni yesterday dismissed a writ filed by Dr. Prince Obri Krang, a lecturer at the University of Ghana Law School, challenging the constitutionality of a law banning unnatural carnal knowledge, including anal sex. Why would you even go to court on something like this? I wonder. Anyway, the plaintiff had argued that Section 104(1)(b) of the Criminal Offences Act 1960 breached certain articles of the 1992 Constitution, hence it should be declared unconstitutional. Section 104 of Act 29 defines unnatural carnal knowledge as sexual intercourse with a person in an unnatural manner or with an animal. It states that a person who has unnatural carnal knowledge of another person of not less than 16 years of age with the consent of that person commits a misdemeanor. Dr. Obri Krang specifically pleaded that the law sinned against Article 18, Clause 2 of the Constitution, which guarantees privacy and Article 17, Clause 2, which guarantees a right against discrimination. He had also argued in his writ that the Section 104, Clause 1b and Act 29 was unconstitutional since it breaches the protection of personal liberties guaranteed under Article 14. If I understand what this person was looking for at the Supreme Court, he says that people have the right to privacy. So what you do in your bedroom, in the privacy of your bedroom, is nobody's business. So if you are going to do a natural carnal knowledge in the privacy of your bedroom, you are going to decide that you are going to have anal sex with somebody in the privacy of your bedroom, it is nobody's business. And so this provision in the Criminal Act breaches that. But the Supreme Court, presided over by Justice Paul Bafoboni, there was a 5-member panel, and assisted by Justices Avril Lovelace, Johnson, Amadou Tanko, Yoni Kulendi, Enes Geu, and Ajay Frimpong, disagreed with the plaintiff and held that the law was conditional, hence dismissed the writ. Okay, so that's on the Daily Guide newspaper. Let's look at the Chronicle newspaper. On the front page of the Chronicle newspaper this morning, the Bible verse on the front page of the Chronicle newspaper, let me go. It's from James 1:19. It says, "Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger." NPP MPs on December elections. That's a big headline there. NPP MPs on December elections. Mahama must debate Bawumia. Majority caucus says government is not afraid of its track record. We've been talking about this. $60 million you has phase 2 projects ready after Akufo-Addo cuts out in 2021, and also 1,000 homes built for security personnel. So that's there on the front page of the Chronicle newspaper. Then the Daily Post. President Mills prioritized the needs of the nation over personal and political gain. That's according to former President Mahama at that memorial yesterday. Minority invites Bawumia to debate media budget in Parliament, and MPP is, in its present state, is not attractive to me. That's according to Professor Frimpong Boateng. I don't know whether you call him an estranged member of the NPP. The man who was fighting Galamsey as Minister for Environment, Science, and, all of that. And he was investigated by the special prosecutor, and we all know the brouhaha that ensued because he now wrote a letter implicating a lot of people who were engaged in Galamsey and all of that. Anyway, he says the MPP is not attractive to him. Daily Dispatch newspaper finally is the paper I have, and it says, as per July 2024 Info Analytics poll, Mahama's support has declined by 9% in Greater Accra and 12% in Central Region. That's on pages 2 and 12 of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Akufo-Addo completes $60 million UHAS project and leads President Atta Mills on his vision for a united and peaceful Ghana. So you can read about it, what the President Atta Mills, when he was alive, the vision that he had for a peaceful and united Ghana. So that will do it for the newspaper headlines this morning. We'll take a short break here. When we return, Mutala Inusa will be joining us in the studio to tell us what has been happening in our courts. We know that some 16 new justices of the Court of Appeal have been appointed, and I was telling you that the president has justified the appointment of judges, saying that the country needs a lot of judges because there are too many backlog of cases. That is why some cases travel so many years. But if there are more judges, a lot of the cases will be dealt with expeditiously. We'll talk about all of that and more here on the Morning Star on Star 103.5 FM. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
They're luckiest. Starr.